What up, athletes? Woo! All right, it is time for some algebra 1. All right, here's your warm up. Go ahead and take a minute, pause this, get working on it. Oh. All right, I'm assuming you have worked on this, and we're going to talk it through. So first things first, we got to distribute, right? So let's get this. Got to distribute, and we end up with what? 5k minus 15, right? Because 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, and then minus 7. What can I combine right here? I can combine these two, and I get 5k minus. Remember, I'm drawing with a mouse, so give me some grace. Same thing down here, distribute those, boom. End up with 3a plus 6 minus 5a plus 3. Only combine like terms. So my 3a and my 5a, right? And remember, you gotta get the sign in front of it. So minus 5a is gonna get me negative 2a. And my plus 6 and plus 3 is going to get me plus 9. See how that works? Negative 2a plus 9. Awesome. We're going to distribute this one. Now this is different. You got to distribute that negative, right? So I'm going to have 12 minus 6t, because negative 3 times positive 2t is negative 6t, negative 21. 3 times 7 is 21. We can combine like terms right here. And I get 12 plus 21 is 33. So this is going to equal negative 60 plus 21. Now when I exit out of this, it's going to delete all these things I've written right here. So just remember, you can always back up and pause if you need help. Write an expression for the area. Well, area is length times width, right? So it's going to be 6 times, and what's my width? It's going to be y plus 4. Because again, area is length times width. I know, y plus 4. It's not the best 4 I've ever drawn, but we'll get through it. All right, write a perimeter, expression for perimeter. Well, perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times width. I'm going to call the length 6, so I'm going to say, all right, this equals 2 times 6, right? Plus 2 times y plus. We can simplify this to be 12 plus 2y plus 8, which combine like terms, and I get 2y plus 20. Boom. It's not bad. Awesome. All right, we're going to move on. Let's do this. It's going away. Again, you can always come back. Look at that. Good stuff. Okay, here's your launch to lesson. Again, I'm assuming you're pausing it, so if you notice me moving on quickly, because ultimately I want you to pause it, give it a shot, see what happens, and we'll talk it through. So this says Olivia is working at the concession stand. A customer gave her quarters, dimes, and nickels. Can I zoom in on this? No, it doesn't let me zoom in. Quarters, dimes, and nickels, and pennies to pay for a snack. Olivia was given the same number of quarters and nickels. The number of dimes she received is 7 more than the number of pennies. Olivia received a total of 31 coins. The quarters made up $1.75 of the money she received. You can use the properties of equality to find the number of each type of coin Olivia was given, as well as the total amount of money she received. So check this out. This is actually not that bad. It's just got a lot of information. The customer gave her quarters, dimes, pennies, and nickels to pay for a snack. Olivia was given the same number of quarters and nickels. So I know that quarters equals nickels. Okay? Dimes she received, so dimes is equal to 7 more than the number of pennies. So 7 plus pennies. Olivia received a total of 31 coins. So that tells me quarters plus nickels plus dimes plus pennies equals 31. I told you it's a lot of information, but here's where we start getting able to solve it. If quarters, so when we're talking about amount, if I have 3 quarters, that's really 75 cents because I'm multiplying 3 times 25 cents. Each quarter is a quarter, right? Is worth 25 cents. So if I'm talking about the amount of money I have, I'm going to multiply the amount of quarters I have by 25 cents to get my total amount. And I know that the amount of quarters I have is $1.75. So if I take 25 cents and multiply it times my number of quarters, I should get $1.75. So how do we undo that? We undo that through division. Or you can just think in your head, how many quarters makes up $1.75? But I'm showing you the math way to undo it. Divide that. How many times does a quarter go into $1.75? Well, our quarters equal 7. Well, here's what's important. If my quarters equal 7, don't I know from over here that my nickels is equal to my number of quarters? So I know my nickels equal 7. Now, let's write down what we know. We're going to take this equation right here, and we're going to fill in everything we know. So quarters is 7, plus my nickels is 7, plus, now dimes is equal to 7 plus pennies. So instead of dimes, I'm going to put 7 plus the number of pennies. And then plus pennies should get me 31 coins. So that's just adding up the number of coins. Okay, let's add up what we know. First of all, are these parentheses even necessary? No, a plus doesn't change anything. So I'm going to have 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21 coins plus my number of pennies should equal 31. Now, you could probably math this out in your head, but let's go ahead and do it. The opposite of positive 21 is minus 21. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So what do I get? That crosses out. I'm left with the number of pennies equals 10. Now, did I do that right? 21. Oh, no. Oh, no. Does anybody see what I forgot to do? I forgot to combine these right here. So that should be P plus P is 2P. Oof. You gotta catch me online. I told you I was going to leave it in if I do mistakes because I make them. Sometimes it's a big problem. Okay? So 2 pennies. So this should be 2 times the amount of pennies equals 10, which means divided by 2. Divided by 2. I thought the number was a little high. And we get that pennies equals 5. Now, if pennies equals 5, I know that dimes equals 7 plus pennies. So what's 7 plus 5? Doesn't that equal 12? So let's see if we got this right. We're going to check our answer. I'm going to check it up here. I'm going to check it in red. I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to do it up here. So I say, my thing says I have 7 quarters plus 7 nickels. We knew that already. We just found out plus, should be 12 dimes, and then plus 5 pennies. If we did it right, that should equal 31. Let's find out. 7 plus 7 is 14. 12 plus 5 is 17. And add those together, 31 equals 31. Is that a true statement? Check, check, check. Awesome. So let's keep on rolling with this. All right, that's a big problem. I don't necessarily expect you to do that right off the gate, but that's where this is leading. So let's go to the next slide. And the big thing I want you to write down, guys, is right here. All I want you to do is write down this table in your notes, operations, opposite operations. So we got addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. What's the opposite of addition? Well, subtraction. What's the opposite of subtraction? Addition. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. And what's the opposite of division? It's multiplication. We need to know opposites because undoing a problem means doing the opposite thing to it. If we added something, we need to subtract it to undo it. Okay? So this is how we're rolling here. Let's go to the next slide. Go ahead and write this down again. Remember, I'm moving fast because I'm assuming you're pausing it. All right, so we're going to use properties of equality to solve right here. I don't know why that's doing that. It should be 11x right there. That's why I kind of redid the thing, but I can always write it in. So that's 11x. So when I look at this, I'm going to have 11x minus 24 equals 9. I got to undo what's been done to it. So let's undo it. Ultimately, guys, you want to get the variable by itself. The only way we get the variable by itself is by getting rid of everything else. So I got to get rid of that minus 24. Well, to undo minus 24, I got to add 24 because that's opposite. Remember, it's all about opposites. And the rule is what I do to one side, right, I do to the other side. Plus 24. I end up with 11x equals 33. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to get just the x by itself. So first we want to get 11x by itself. Now I want to solve for just x. How do I do that? By undoing what's been done to it. It's been multiplied by 11. So to undo that, I'm going to divide by 11. When I divide by 11, I get that x equals 3. And x equals 3 is my answer. Okay? How about a problem like this with division in it? That's rough. Well, not really. To undo division, we're just going to multiply times 8. But what I do to one side, got to do to the other. So what I'm going to have, 8's going to cross out here with this 8, and I'm going to be left with a plus 7 equals, and then what's 8 times 5? It is 40. Now, I want to get a by itself. How do I get a by itself? Get rid of the plus 7. How do I get rid of plus 7? I do the opposite, which is subtract 7. And the rule is what I do to one side, I do to the other. Remember, sides are separated by equal signs. That's why I keep drawing this separator over the equal sign. Now, I'm left with a. That's gone. Equals 40 minus 7 is 33. Boom, we'll get a equals 33. Okay? Pause it if you need to make sure you write this all down. We're going to go on to the next. Hiroshi is buying a snowboard that is on sale. After he uses a $50 gift card, the total cost before tax is $190. Well, how much is the sell? The sell is 3/4 of the original price. So if P is the original price of the snowboard, what do I got to multiply it by to make it 3/4 of that? Well, I'm going to make it multiply times 3/4. And then remember, he spent a $50 gift card on it. So we're going to subtract 50. And once we do that, what should that equal? Well, we're told that equals $190 because that's what's left to buy on it. Now, how do we solve this? Well, let's do it. First, again, we want to get this by itself, which means we need to get rid of the minus 50. How do we get rid of minus 50? You're right. The opposite is plus 50. And I get the 3/4 P equals, because that crosses out, right? 190 plus 50 is 240. All right, now I want to get P by itself, just P. We talked about it. The multiplicative property of identity would tell us that the way we change 3/4 to a 1 is by multiplying by its reciprocal, which is 4/3. Boom. So those cross out, and I'm just left with P equals. But what I do to one side, got to do to the other. 4/3. Now, 3 goes into 40, or 3 goes into 3 once. It goes into 240, 80 times. 80 times 4 is 320. Boosh, right there. Awesome. So the original price of the snowboard was $320. Awesome. Moving right along, we're almost done. Now I want to talk to you about solving with letters. Don't let those stress you out. They do the same things. In fact, they're less math. So we're going to assume A is not 0, and we'll talk about that later. But ultimately, what do I do to solve for A? Well, I'm still going to get rid of 7. Minus 7 from both sides. I get AX is equal to -2. You may be thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do? Well, the same thing. A letter next to a letter means multiply. So how do I undo multiplication? Division. What I do to one side, I do to the other. And I want to get rid of the x this time because I want to solve for A. Or I'm sorry, I want to get rid of A because I want to solve for x still. So I'm just going to divide both sides by A. Any number divided by itself is 1, so that's gone to 1. That's left with -2 over A, so I just get x equals -2 over A. Can't go any further than that. Boom, we're done. And last but not least,
to the office, please. Blake Seibert, Isaiah Augusto, Cody Gasso, and Elijah Pratt. To the office, please.
right here, let's look at this one. Awesome. So I've got 1 over A, x minus 4 equals 9. What do I do? Same thing. I want to get this by itself first. So I'm going to add 4. What I do to one side, I do to the other. 1 over A is equal to 13. 1 over AX, excuse me, is equal to 13. And then what's going on here? How do I undo a fraction? Multiply by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 over A is A over 1. Again, those are going to cross out, and I'm left with just X equals, but what I do to one side, got to do the other, times A. You can say over 1, but it's not necessary. This is just 13A. Look at that. Boom. This is math. Let me know if you have questions. If you're gone watching this, email me screenshots, and I will help work them out for you and send them back. Peace out.